Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing last night's game between the Los Angeles Clippers and the New Orleans Pelicans. However, before I get too far into it, I want to remind you all to leave a like and subscribe. I've been appreciating all the support that I've been receiving lately, and I hope to see that continue. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the game. Quite honestly, I was rooting for the Pelicans pretty hard at the end of this game. The Clippers opened up a pretty huge lead in the second quarter and were leading by 20 plus points for portions of this game, but in the fourth, the Pelicans were able to go on a nice run and cut that lead down to 5, and I was hoping that they would win the game because I just wanted Nickeil Alexander-Walker to have like a breakout moment, and even though they did lose, I think that this could qualify as that moment for him. What he did tonight was really impressive. He finished with 37 points and 8 rebounds on 15 for 23 shooting, 5 for 8 from 3, and he knocked down both of his free throws. But he started off the game by being the primary pick and roll ball handler for the Pelicans. He was running lots of different looks with Steven Adams, and as the Clippers have always done traditionally, they were dropping into a drop coverage scheme when they were taking on that pick and roll. And Alexander Walker was really taking advantage of that. He was getting to his spot in the mid-range, and he had a teardrop tonight that was just going down every time he took it. He was remarkably efficient, like I said before, 15 for 23, and that's including 3 shots that he missed kind of down the stretch that were kind of difficult forced shots. So really he was 15 for 20 at one point in this game. And it's hard to shoot that efficiently when you're relying on your floaters so much. And the fact that he was able to score so efficiently with that floater led to Zubac and Ibaka being forced to step up in the pick and roll and guard him a little bit further out into the mid-range. And Alexander Walker flashed the necessary athleticism and burst to utilize a quick first step and get around those big guys and get to the rim. There were multiple impressive finishes that he had, whether it was around the big guy or around the help defender. He did a really terrific job of taking what the defense gave him. When they were giving up that mid-range look, he did that. When they were allowing him to get to the rim, he did that. And at one point, I think the Clippers started going under screens and daring him to shoot. And he said, okay, I'll shoot. And he knocked down 5 threes in this game, including at least a couple off the bounce, off of screen opportunities. And that's really a key to his game. He's exhibited the ability to be a scorer in the past. He's never been super efficient. So this is certainly a step in the right direction. If you thought of Nickeil Alexander-Walker as a 3-level scorer who's able to pick defenses apart and really do his job at a high level, then this game has to be encouraging to you. And it certainly looks like he's improved his feel for what the NBA is after his rookie season. I haven't seen too much of the Pelicans. I think this is only the second time I've watched a full game of theirs, but I really liked what I saw from him. This brings the question, what happens when the rest of their prominent rotation players come back? Today, Lonzo Ball was out with a knee issue. Eric Bledsoe has some problem with his eye, and Zion was out as well because of the health and safety protocols. So once those guys are back, obviously, Nickeil will not be starting. He'll be coming off the bench. But how many minutes can he actually get? Well, you have to figure that Lonzo is probably going to play around 30 minutes a night. Bledsoe is probably going to get about 28. So that's 58 minutes to the backcourt right there. You adding J.J. Redick, who is invaluable to this team because of his ability to knock down shots, which is something not too many guys on this Pelicans squad can do. He's probably going to be getting like 24 minutes a night. So that pushes you up towards the 80-minute threshold, which leaves, like 16 minutes for Alexander Walker if we're assuming that he can only play the 1 and the 2, which I kind of am. I don't think that he has the strength to guard up the lineup against threes. So he's probably going to be relegated to being a guy who can come off the bench, initiate the pick and roll, and attack defenses at a high level alongside JJ Redick, who's obviously a strong offensive weapon as a shooter. And I think that that's a pretty good spot for Nickeil for now. I also think that he showed enough tonight to prove that he probably is going to be a starter at some point on this rookie contract. So whether or not that changes what the Pelicans decide about Lonzo Ball's future with the team following this season when he's a restricted free agent, I'm not sure. Kyra Lewis, I keep saying Kira, but I believe it is Kyra, did also showcase a bit of a shot-making verve tonight. It appears that Stan Van Gundy is going to be pretty reluctant to play him when they are at full health, but he did knock down a 3 off the dribble, a 3 off a catch and shoot, got into the mid-range, and I think he got to the rim once as well, and finished in double digits for scoring. So that is certainly promising to this team, but I'm not sure how big of a role he'll have this year. But definitely something to keep an eye on when it comes to Lonzo Ball's future. On the other side of the coin, with the Clippers, there were certainly some good things that I saw tonight. Paul George has been playing at an All-NBA type level, perhaps even an MVP type level so far this season, and that continued tonight. His ability as a shot maker has allowed Kawhi to diversify his game a little bit, has allowed Leonard to be a bit more of a shot creator and a playmaker than he has been in the past. And as I've been saying here, I think that's in large part due to the step Paul George has taken on the offensive end. He looks far more confident, he's been more aggressive in getting his shots up, and he also has been shooting really efficiently, and he's been quite consistent in making those shots so far this season. Tonight, he had 27 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds on 8 for 16 shooting, 5 for 9 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the free throw line. His ability to score as a jump shot-oriented guard just makes him super effective in a similar vein to someone like CJ McCollum has been in the past, but at a much higher level because George is strong enough to take advantage of some of the mismatches that he's able to get because of the fact that he plays the 2 for large periods of time, and he's able to take advantage of those guys in the lane at a level that CJ isn't quite capable of. But Paul George has taken a step forward, at least from last year, probably not from his MVP type season that he had 2 years ago, but this is one of his better seasons of his career. I've been really impressed with what I've seen so far, and I think that what he's doing, as I said before, has allowed Kawhi to focus on creating for his teammates a bit more than he did in the past. Tonight, he had 28 points, 6 assists, and 9 rebounds. Kawhi, this is now, on 8 for 18 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, and 10 for 11 from the free throw line. And it seems like he's just looking to pass the ball a little bit more. There are a lot of really solid shooters surrounding him on this Clippers team. Obviously, in the starting lineup, you have 2 guys that are able to knock down open looks. I guess 3 guys. I guess actually all 4 of the starters surrounding Kawhi Leonard are really able to shoot at a high level. Patrick Beverley has always been like a 38-ish% shooter in catch and shoot opportunities. Nick Batum has been hot to start the season and has been shooting it at a high level. Paul George, as I said before, is one of the best shooters in the league. And Serge Ibaka is really able to space the floor at a high level from the big man position. Off the bench, you have guys like Luke Kennard and Lou Williams, who are also terrific shooters. And the spacing that this Clippers team has surrounded Kawhi with has really allowed him to blossom as a playmaker. And I think that that just makes him all that much more lethal, all that much more effective. And once he does need to take over a game like he did in the fourth quarter, opposing teams are going to be a lot more hesitant to help off of those plus shooters than they have been in the past. We saw Kawhi really effectively take over the game down the stretch, as after at the beginning of the fourth quarter, he found Paul George for a couple open looks and Pat Bev for a wide open three, he started looking for his own shot a bit more, doing what he does as a meticulous scorer who is able to get to his spots at the elbows, is able to get to the rim and draw fouls and get to the free throw line, as he shot 11 free throws tonight. And I just think that the spacing around him is super key to that, and that's a large reason why this Clippers team is going to be able to shoot so well. So if Kawhi continues to make the plays at the high level he has been so far, I just think that this Clippers team is better than anyone else. You look up and down this roster, and they're so deep and so talented, and I just think that they're better than every other Western Conference team. I know a lot of people like the Lakers, but I think that Kawhi is pretty close to LeBron. He's not quite as good as LeBron because he's not quite the playmaker that he is, but he does make up for a bit of that as a defensive player a lot of the time. Paul George isn't quite on the same level as Anthony Davis either, but I think that Zubac and Ibaka are better than Harrell and Gasol. I think that Marcus Morris and Nick Batum are better than Kyle Kuzma and Markieff Morris. To continue this, I think that Luke Kennard and Lou Williams are probably better than Wesley Matthews and I guess Alex Caruso. And then at the point guard position, Dennis Schroeder's probably better than Patrick Beverley, but that's not a huge gap there. So I'm taking a lot of the supporting pieces for this Clippers team over the supporting pieces for the Lakers, and I actually think that they match up quite well with the Lake Show, in large part due to the addition of Serge Ibaka. So what I've seen from the Clippers has been pretty promising so far. I know that they've struggled at times and been inconsistent, and once again tonight they almost blew a huge lead. But as a fundamental basketball team, if they're clicking at a high level and everything is going in the way that it needs to for them to reach their fullest potential, I think that this team has a higher ceiling than every other team in the Western Conference. And depending on what your thoughts are on the brand new look Brooklyn Nets, perhaps higher than any other team in the league. Obviously, it's going to be a waiting game. They have to prove it to us in the playoffs before we can make any definitive statements on this team, but I have a lot of confidence going in. With the Pelicans, as great as tonight was from Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I don't think that he can continue this, and for that reason, he probably won't be featured as prominently as he was tonight once those other guys come back. I think that Zion is one of the more overrated players in terms of his current production in the entire NBA. Brandon Ingram has been terrific so far this season, so he's going to at least get this team in contention for the play-in tournament. But do I think that they are one of the 8 best teams in the Western Conference? No, I probably don't. I don't think they're better than Dallas. I don't think they're better than Golden State. I don't think they're better than Portland. And those are 3 teams that are probably going to be right around like the 6, 7, 8 seed throughout this season. And I don't think I would take New Orleans over any of them. So this is probably like a play-in level team. Not much more than that, but they certainly have a bright future moving forward. And I'm very intrigued to see what some of their personnel decisions look like in the near future. Let me know what your thoughts were on this game in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for me. I will see you all again very soon.